Welcome friends. Today's session we are going to discuss how to calculate Mann Whitney U test in Excel. As you know, this is a non-parametric test and I have some tips related to Mann Whitney U test. The Mann Whitney U test is the non-parametric equivalent of the two sample t test. So it is a complementary to the parametric test what we have already discussed for calculation. Two sample t test. It is also called as the Mann Whitney Wilcoxon test or the Wilcoxon rank sum test. It is used to test whether two samples are likely to derive from the same population, that is, that the two populations have the same shape. Some investigators interpret this test as comparing the medians between two populations. So that's the simple introduction related to Mann Whitney U test. And now we are going to work out with a sample problem. And I'm going to explain you to add add-ins command. This particular command in your Excel version. So this also will help us in our future exercises. So I will go for first adding the add-ins in your Excel version, and then we will continue with the sample problem to calculation of Mann Whitney U test. Right. So this is the problem I have taken for you for the calculation of this particular session. And before entering into this session, as I said already, I am going to teach you how to add the add-ins menu in your Excel format. Okay, so what you have to do, go to Google. Go to Google, just type Megastat add-ins installer. You will get lot of websites, out of which you are going to choose Megastat installation instructions, that is from professormo.com. You select this particular website, Megastat installation instruction. Just click it in the new window, getting some instruction related to Megastat. This Megastat is going to help us in working out most of our non-parametric test problems. So here you have download the software to your site by clicking here. If you have a Excel already in your desktop or in your laptop, you can straight away go with install mega.exe. You just click this. When you click this, you will have a window here, right? This is an exe file. I'm running, giving yes, and I'm running it. I'm initializing by giving next. In C program, I am going to install this particular Megastat installer. Next. Next, that's it, finish. Okay, now I have installed this Megastat in my laptop. Okay, to ensure what I have to do, whether this particular Megastat software have been installed in my system. In order to ensure it, I am just going to open the folders. In C drive, I'm just checking it. In C drive, go to program files, this x86, open it. You browse Microsoft Office folder, open it. You will get different folders, out of which you click and you open Office 11. There you have another folder, library. Click this and you can find the Megastat installed in my computer. Here you just copy this with an Excel symbol. You just click this and copy it. That's it. I'm closing the folder. I'm coming back to the Excel worksheet. Since I've already installed add-ins, it's showing this particular menu. For the new people who want to install add-ins, this will help you. Right? What I'm doing, I'm just selecting file, going to options. There we have a separate Excel options window. Here I'm clicking add-ins. A new window will be opened, an add-ins window. Already we have installed the analysis tool pack for our data analysis tab, right? What you are going to do now, you come to this particular position, manage Excel add-ins. Okay, manage Excel add-ins, go click, you will get an Excel window here. And here usually, since I have installed the add-ins here, I can find the Megastat have been made as a tick. But for the new people, after installing the Megastat, it will be like this. So what you have to do, you have to go with the tick mark of Megastat and give OK. That's it. You will get a add-ins tab in your Excel version. Automatically you will get the add-ins tab. So this is the easiest way to install the add-ins in your Excel version. This will be more useful in working out our nonparametric test in a simple way. So while I click add-ins tab, I will get Megastat here. Okay, I will get Megastat here. When I click Megastat, I will get lot of tests, that is like a data analysis tab, descriptive statistics, frequency distributions, probability, and there we have a T distribution, F distribution, chi-square distribution, confidence intervals, hypothesis test. You have different types of tests, analysis of variance, one way ANOVA, two way ANOVA, correlation and regression, time series and forecasting, chi-square for crosstab and goodness of fit test, non-parametric test like sign test, Arendt's test, Wilcoxon Mann Whitney test, Wilcoxon sign rank test, Kruskal-Wallis test, Friedman test. Likewise, we can get lot of tests. Okay, so this particular Megastat will be very useful for you while you go with non-parametric test especially. This is the problem for today's session, guys. We are going to calculate the Mann Whitney U test in Excel. The problem goes like this. A clinical trial is run to assess the effectiveness of a new antiretroviral therapy for the patients with HIV. Patients are randomized to receive a standard antiretroviral therapy, that is usual care, or the new antiretroviral therapy, and are monitored for 3 months. The primary outcome is viral load, which represents the number of HIV copies per milliliter of blood. A total of 30 participants are randomized and the data are shown below. Significance level at 0.05, that's what we call it as the alpha level. Is there significant statistical evidence of a difference in viral load in patients receiving the standard versus the new antiretroviral therapy? So this was the problem, and I have taken nearly the data of 30 patients, right? So 15 data for a standard therapy, and for new therapy another 14 data. The last data is undetectable, so it is unequal. Okay, so with this we are going to calculate we are going to test the hypothesis with the help of Mann Whitney U test, right? we have add-ins tab, installed the add-ins tab, and with that I'm going with the simple calculation of the ranking first, and then based upon the rank I'm going to calculate the Mann Whitney U test. Okay, right. So I'm just clicking the add-ins tab. I'm getting Megastat here. Clicking this. Here I have a non-parametric test. There I'm just choosing a Wilcoxon Mann Whitney test. Just clicking it. I'm getting a Mann Whitney test tab. So it is asking for group 1 and group 2. Here for group 1 I'm going to select the values of group 1, right, and for group 2 the values of group 2. Since it is undetectable, I'm just leaving this, right. I'm selecting output ranked data and the correct for ties. I'm just selecting it not equal. Okay, so that's it. I'm giving OK. I'll get the output in the next sheet as an output sheet, where I'm getting the n and the sum of ranks, and I'm getting the z value 0.20 and the p value 0.8443, and I've got the rank also for each and every data. For group 1 standard and new therapy group 2 I'm getting the rank. So this rank data is going to help us to go with manual calculation of Mann Whitney test. Okay, right. So what I'm doing now, I'm just selecting the first group 15 rank data. I'm copying it, coming to the problem here. Already I have made a separate table for the rank schedule. So here this standard therapy value have been entered, and R1 is the rank sum, rank total. Okay, so I'm just pasting the rank of the standard therapy data. That's it. This is the rank data, and again going to the output, I'm selecting the second group, that is in the new therapy, copying it, coming back to this particular, I am for the second group, that is new therapy, I am pasting, go with transpose, yes, this data doesn't have value, I'm just leaving it. Okay, now I'm going to calculate the sum of this particular rank. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm just selecting all the rank details, going with auto sum. Again for the new therapy, selecting all, go with auto sum. So I've calculated R1, R2, right? And you know the formula for U1 and U2 is R1 minus N1 of N1 plus 1 divided by 2, and again for U2 equal to R2 minus N2 of N2 plus 1 divided by 2. Here R is the sum of ranks. This is what we have identified. This is what we call it as the R. R1 is 230 and R2 is 205. So N is the number of items in the sample. So how many samples we have taken? For the first data, that is for standard therapy, there are 15 data, and for new therapy there are 14 data, since one data is undetectable, right? So that's what we call it as N1 and N2 here. So we are going to calculate this, and we are going to minus this particular value, N value, with R1, and again we are going to calculate this particular value and we are going to minus with R2. R2 we have already calculated, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to calculate the u value here. After finding u1 and u2 value, we are going to select which is minimum, which value is minimum, that what we consider it as a u value. Then we are going to test with the hypothesis what we have set. And I have a table value for u, right? And I have the hypothesis set up H0, the two populations are equal, that the treatment groups does not differ in viral load, and H1 alternative hypothesis, the two populations are not equal, that the treatment groups differ in viral load. And we know when calculated value is lesser than table value, we accept null hypothesis, and when calculated value is greater than table value, we reject null hypothesis. Now we are going to calculate the u value with the help of this particular formula. Okay, you know this is the formula. First we have to calculate u1 value and then u2 value. Already we have calculated r1 and r2, the sum of ranks. So now for simplification, I am just going to calculate manually the value of n1 into n1 plus 1 divided by 2 is the number of samples what we have taken. This what for u1 we are going to calculate, and then for u2 also we are going to calculate, since the samples what we have chosen is unequal, right? If it is equal, only one time if we have calculated n1 into n1 plus 1 divided by 2, that will be useful for you. Right now I'm just going to calculate for simplification n1 equal to, n1 is for standard therapy 15 samples, so 15 plus 1 is 16, so 15 multiplied by 16 divided by 2, we will get n1. Okay, so 15 multiplied by 16 divided by 2, that's it. 120 is the n1 value. Now for n2, the same step I am going to follow it. Here we have taken for new therapy 14 samples, so 14 plus 1 15 into actual sample 14, so 14 multiplied by 15 divided by 2, 105. So for n1 value and n2 value we have calculated. Now we are going to apply this value with this particular u1. Now u1 equal to u2 equal to, just going to calculate it, equal to, we know r1, that is sum of ranks for the first group is 230. I'm just clicking this particular cell minus this particular cell n1, that's it. Give enter. 110 is the answer for value for u1. For u2, the same method. This r2 score minus this n2 score, giving enter. 100. So we have calculated u1 score as 110 and u2 score as 100. As you know already, from u1 and u2, which is minimal score, which occupies minimum, that will be calculated or applied for u value. Now u value is 100. So this is the calculated value. I have a table for you here. So we have calculated u value. Now we are going to compare it with table value or our hypothesis testing. Okay. Now since our sample size is 30 and 15 n1 and 15 n2, we are going to check it out with the table value. This is for Mann Whitney U Test, n1 and n2, n1 15 I'm just making it with 15. 64 is the answer. 64 is the table value. See, 15 with 0.05, I'm getting 64. Again with 15, I'm getting 64. So 64 is the table value. Table value is 64. Right? The U value is 100 and table value is 64. Now we are going to test the hypothesis. Okay. As you know, H0 is the two populations are equal, that the treatment groups does not differ in the viral load, and H1 alternative hypothesis, the two populations are not equal, that the treatment groups differ in viral load. When calculated value is lesser than table value, we accept null hypothesis, and when calculated value is greater than table value, we reject null hypothesis. Here the table value or the calculated value is 100, which is greater than the table value 64. So what we are doing, we are rejecting the null hypothesis. Since the calculated value is greater than the table value, we are rejecting null hypothesis. That means we are accepting the alternative hypothesis. So the result of this particular problem using Mann Whitney U Test is the two populations what we have taken for our calculation are not equal, that the treatment groups differ in viral load. So after giving a new therapy, there is some difference. That's what we are going to conclude related to this particular problem. Right? And with this manual calculation, I have calculated R1 and R2, that is the ranks, the sum of ranks. Instead, we can choose, without calculating this, we can choose the sum of ranks from the output itself, output of Mann Whitney test itself. Now output itself, it have been clearly given that sum of ranks is 230 for the first group and 205 for the second group. So that is also available in this particular output, and we have a p-value also here 0.8443. With this also we can confirm the hypothesis testing. If it can be the p-value is compared with the alpha value of 0.005, and then we can work it our hypothesis testing also. So in that manner, this particular megastat add-ins supports us to find the results for Mann Whitney U test. So that's, we have calculated the Mann Whitney U test using Excel. Guys, if you have any doubts, you post your queries. We will discuss with a new problem in our next session. Thank you.